YouTube in Russia has been disabled for a total of more than 6 months now. Let's leave it on the conscience of the incompetent clowns from Moscow. However, every action has consequences. What are the consequences of disabling YouTube in Russia? To warm up, let's take the video from December 14, 2024. For 6 months, the share of viewers from Russia was 3/4 of the total, 76% of viewers. But if we split the viewings into 2 periods of 3 months each, then for viewers from Russia in the period from December to March it was 83%, which is 8 out of 10. And in the period from March to June, the number of viewers from Russia was only 9%, which is less than 1 out of 10. Based on these figures alone, it can be concluded that viewers from Russia have almost completely stopped coming to YouTube in 6 months. From 8 out of 10 at the time of YouTube shutdown to 1 out of 10 6 months later. The audience and its geography have changed dramatically. Logically, there's no point in trying to watch a video on YouTube if it doesn't load. The following video is from December 17, 2024. In 6 months, the share of viewers from Russia was 60%, which is 6 out of 10. The rest are small things from 3% or less from Kazakhstan, Germany, the Netherlands, and someone else. It's hard to say what the residents of these countries have forgotten here. Let's split the views into 2 parts again, the first and second 3 months. In the first 3 months, the audience from Russia was 66%, almost 7 out of 10. In the second 3 months, the audience from Russia was 28%, almost 3 out of 10. Again, in the first 3 months, there were more viewers from Russia than non-Russian viewers. And for the second 3 months, there were fewer viewers from Russia than non-Russian viewers. Once again, it turns out that viewers from Russia have stopped coming to YouTube. The audience and its geography have changed. Wanting to another channel. This is exactly the same video, but from December 25, 2024. In 6 months, the shape of viewers from Russia was 42%, which is 4 out of 10. The rest are the same Turkestan plus Great Britain. Don't know what the UK is doing here. Apparently, it's the same as Germany and the Netherlands in the same video earlier. Let's split the views into 2 parts again. In the first 3 months, the audience from Russia was 45%, almost every second. In the second 3 months, 25% is 1 in 4. The audience and its geography have changed. And this audience is simply not interested in Russia, the Chuvash, Bashkirs, and Tatars. But it becomes interesting, what about the views of channels that broadcast about Russia not from Russia for viewers from Russia? There should be the same collapse and the same change of audience and its geography. Next is the video from February 5, 2025, which can't watch but can listen to it because it's a short fiction story. Fans of fiction from Russia are only 9%. That's less than 1 out of 10. It's a familiar picture. We saw the same ratio in previous videos after YouTube was turned off when there were more foreigners than Russians. Russian writer and scientist, the story is written in Russian, but outside of her homeland, non-Russians are more interested in her than Russians in her homeland. It's amazing that foreigners have shown any interest at all. The following video is from April 16, 2025. There is no point in dividing into 2 parts, since the dying Russians were interesting to the audience only for the first 2 weeks. As many as 17% of viewers from endangered Russia came running, which is less than 2 out of 10. The remaining 8 out of 10 are foreigners. If we compare with the videos about the Chuvash, the ratio has changed to the opposite. 8 out of 10 are from Russia versus 8 out of 10 are not from Russia. The audience and its geography have completely changed. And if compare it with the number of views, then the new audience is not interested in videos from Russia. Next is the video from May 29, 2025. Viewers from Russia account for 24%, which is 1 in 4. Can put this down to the specifics of the material because these are Tatars, who are not interesting to anyone, even in Russia. And the exact same video is on another channel with 50% of views from Russia, which is 1 in 2. Gentlemen, do not edit anything more about Tatars on YouTube. Remember, that life is given to a person only once, and do not need to spend this priceless gift on viewers from Russia who no longer go to YouTube. For a snack, the freshest ethnic Chukloma from June 11, 2025, who considers herself Russian. This godforsaken nation, which no one considers to be a nation, attracted 13% of viewers from Russia. In units, that's 13 people. The remaining 85 viewers were not from Russia, so there were no comments. On another channel, the exact same video attracted 110 viewers, 12% from Russia. These are the same 13 people. The remaining 97 viewers were Ukrainians and the company. Therefore, there are no comments here either. This is a general illustration of how YouTube was dying in Russia. If before the shutdown, The main audience was Russians from Russia, then after that the audience gradually changed to non-Russians from non-Russia. Along with the drop in views from Russia, there was a drop in views in general. Which is logical, since Russians made the bulk of the views. These are observable facts. A foreign Russian-speaking audience is not interested in those videos that are interesting to a Russian-speaking audience from Russia. This is also an observable fact. The conclusion. For an author from Russia, it no longer makes sense to post on YouTube. The video will not find an audience because a foreign Russian-speaking audience is not interested in it. And the majority of the Russian-speaking audience from Russia has left YouTube. As a result, Russian-language channels from Russia will also leave YouTube after the Russian-speaking audience from Russia. Or it will be material not for the Russian from Russia, but for a foreign Russian-speaking audience. Even now, YouTube has turned into some kind of Ukrainian and Kazakh garbage dump with authors not from Russia precisely for this reason. Other authors are not published, and the other audience is not watching. However, the foreign Russian-speaking audience is obviously smaller in terms of the number of Russian-speaking audience from Russia. As a result, the Russian language will continue to die on YouTube because there is no point in making videos for 1.5 Russian-speaking foreigners on YouTube. It's easier to publish in English right away. As a result, the pupation of the Russian language will lead to its marginalization among the Russian-speaking public outside of Russia. It is possible that this is a plan of incompetent clowns from Moscow. Kill the Russian language on YouTube and marginalize the Russian language and the Russian-speaking audience outside of Russia if focus on the consequences of the shutdown. The situation is similar on the other channel. Only 1.5 totters, who have run up, look like an anomaly. This is where the number of views has not reached 50. If focus on viewers from Russia, then YouTube is no longer suitable as a platform for these purposes. Because viewers from Russia don't come here anymore. And if focus on viewers outside of Russia, then there are too few of them. It makes no sense to make a video for such a small number of viewers. The lack of an audience from Russia is not only a minimum of views, but also a minimum of comments. And the lack of comments is the lack of feedback, which demotivates making videos. It makes no sense to spend several days on a video that will be watched by 1.5 people, which no one will like, under which will not leave a single comment, and there will be no one to chat with, and so on. By the way, the channel has 60 subscribers. Who are all these people? Global conclusion. The Russian language will be divided into 2 segments. The first segment is YouTube and the Russian-speaking audience outside of Russia. These are emigrants, Russified and others. This segment will fade, which means that the prevalence of the Russian language outside of Russia will gradually fade. The second segment is the Russian language and the Russian audience on some other platform. The audience from the first segment will not come to this platform and will gradually assimilate into own language environments, and the Russified will switch to own languages or English. And the audience from the second segment will not come to YouTube. Accordingly, the authors will be divided into 2 segments, for the public from Russia and for the public not from Russia. It is possible that the clowns from Moscow wanted to transfer all the Russian speakers of this planet to another platform. But they have achieved the opposite result, and there will simply be fewer Russian speakers. Or maybe they wanted to make money on their platform. But now they will be able to earn money from a much smaller audience.